Hello, my friend, and welcome to my Reiki room. For today's session, we are going to be doing kind of a part 2 to this friendship series. If you missed the previous video, it was all about self-friendship, so I can do my best to remember to link that below. So you can check that out too, if you're interested. But for this session, we are going to be engaging in, like I said, a distance Reiki session with the theme of connecting with other people, kind of a more intimate connection with others. This is based on one of your incredible comments, and thank you for all of your amazing comments. Really, it's one of my favorite things about doing this is just connecting with you in the comments. So thank you. And one of you requested quite a while ago, actually, apologies it's taken me this long to get to this session, about how do I make friends? I find it really difficult to make friends. A little fuzzy. And so I wanted to create this just to help provide a kind of foundation for you. And I think this is a nice way just to remind yourself that you're not alone if you are having a hard time connecting, or maybe you're a little bit older, and by older I mean like my age, and that you are just busy with life in a way that makes it kind of difficult for you to prioritize either your existing friendships or kind of carving out time for creating and cultivating new friendships, where it was maybe a little bit easier earlier on in life because a lot of the activities that we were engaged in were perfect and supportive opportunities for making friends. Doesn't mean it's not really difficult to make friends regardless of the circumstance, but maybe you're coming at it from that perspective that it's just been really hard to kind of prioritize friendship when you have so many other things going on. Could be that maybe you are in school and university and you just have a barrier, maybe a hard time connecting with others. Whatever stage or situation you're in, my intention is for this session just to kind of meet you where you are and help you to bridge that gap in whatever way I'm able to here, or at least able to support you. So let's start by doing a little bit of sound clearing. I've been loving starting these sessions with a tuning fork, just to kind of move through the energy around you. And just start off with a nice high vibrational energy in the space. Okay. All right. So I'll begin just moving through your aura here and just kind of filling it up with this nice, pure vibration. Thank you to everyone who's ordered a ritual box from my shop. I really appreciate it, and I hope that for those of you who got them as gifts, for others, I hope that the recipient of the gift really enjoys it. I put a lot of love into those, so I hope that you can feel it, and I hope that you're enjoying them. You might not have gotten them yet, actually. By the time this goes out, I don't think. Okay. One more. Now I would like to light a little bit of sage. But first I'm going to light a candle. This is not the candle we'll be using to set our intention, but rather so I don't have to keep using the lighter. We can hopefully light other things off of this throughout the session. So I wanted to start by asking you just a few questions. I think it's important anytime because I think cultivating new friendships or relationships of any kind is in a way a form of manifestation. We're manifesting these into our lives, I believe. And so it can be helpful to kind of treat it in the same way that we would treat any manifestation, which is to dig a little bit deeper and ask a few questions about where we stand, taking some inventory of where we are so that we can start to really connect with where we want to be. So now, just to begin with, I'd like to just ask you a few questions, just lighting this little sage bundle off of our candle here. So let's just ask ourselves a few questions about the relationships that we currently have. Let's start to connect with our current friendships, if you have friends, or any relationship. So let's begin to ask ourselves a few questions, if you're open to it. So with regards to your current friendships, your current relationships, just using the smoke to kind of clear and cleanse, start off from a clean slate. But with our current friendships, do these friendships, do they fulfill you? Do you feel fulfilled with your current friendships? Are they fulfilling or are they draining? And by draining, I mean sometimes it's tiring to be with anybody because you're just kind of in a mood to be by yourself. But by that I just mean generally, do you leave your encounters with this individual or these individuals feeling better, feeling lighter, or do you feel a bit more weighed down? Just things to take stock of. No judgment for them, no judgment for you, just things to consider. There are always going to be challenging aspects of any friendship because, two people connecting with one another, being vulnerable and all of that, the give and take, it's complicated and people are complex and there are definitely days when maybe you're just not in alignment with this individual and so it's not going well that day, or maybe they're in a really tough spot or you're in a tough spot, whatever it might be, or they're going through something that's tapping into something that you're experiencing. But generally when you're more aligned, how does it feel to be with them? Do they kind of lessen your burden or do they add to it? Is there an equal give and take between the two of you, or does one of you hoard the conch shell? Just things to consider. So my next question would be, And I know these can be kind of challenging questions. So for those of you, or for those relationships that you do feel fulfilled by, so when you see this person, it lifts your spirits, lifts your day. I'm very lucky to have people like that in my life, and it's such a joy. Or if you were to say, does this person drain you or fulfill you? There wouldn't even be a question. It would be 100%. They fill me brimming over. I feel very lucky. So, just kind of connecting with that question of like, how do they feel? But with those that do fulfill you, like in a way, kind of emotionally, just like lighten the load, lighten the burden a little bit. With those friendships, do you feel that you value those individuals? Do you feel that you are kind of honoring those friendships? I know it's hard. Just kind of taking stock, again, without any judgment, without any shame, just taking stock here. How are you arriving in your current friendships or relationships? And these friendships can be, it could be with a sibling or family member, whomever. This is not about sort of in any way telling you how things should be for you. It's just if you're looking for something different, something new, this can be a way of helping you arrive there. Trying to support you as you find and discover and step into a more aligned and hopefully happier life. And I think really checking in with ourselves is the best way to embark on that journey. See where we are now. So then I would ask, what are ways in which you could maybe honor this individual or those individuals? If you're not already, what are ways that you could really show them that they matter to you and how much they matter to you? Just something to think about. So, just using this cedar wood incense to move through your aura here. And now I'm going to draw the sacred Reiki symbols about a foot away from your heart center here, okay? So now, just like our manifestation rituals and our hangouts on the live stream, what would your kind of ideal friendship feel like? If you were going to manifest like the best friendship you can possibly imagine, what would that feel like to talk to them to connect with them, what would it feel like to look at your phone or check your email and receive a notification from them to see that they've reached out to you, called you, texted you, whatever, messaged you? How would it feel to receive that? And I think these can be things that you can write down. How would you like to be in this friendship? In our previous session, the intention was to really fill your cup so that you have something great to offer when someone who is worthy of your vulnerability, worthy of your trust, and worthy of that connection. And by worthy, I just mean that they'll honor it and they won't kind of betray you by sharing your trust or making you feel bad about yourself, trying to make you feel small. Just someone who's worthy is someone who honors that you're being vulnerable and connecting with them, just like you're going to honor and you're going to be trustworthy with those people to honor that trust. So just like we kind of prepared in that last session for how we would fill ourselves up so that we can be full, like a full vessel. So we're not really hungry for that connection when we meet someone, which can be a little intimidating and sometimes kind of overwhelming for somebody. So that we can step into the situation from an aligned place, from hopefully a confident place. That's why I wanted to create that confidence boost video, then the friendship, self-friendship, and now this one. Hopefully all three of these can really work well together. So I'm now going to grab this candle here and we will light that candle and set our intention, okay? So, on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this distance energy work session to provide you with support in cultivating new friendships. And if you would like to maybe kind of set an intention based on some of those questions, I will leave this flame open for you to do so now. Really amplifying this intention, seeing it through time and space to where and whenever you're receiving this session, and also to where and when you begin to carve out these relationships, meeting new people and all of that. So take your time and set your own intention here if you'd like to. Gorgeous. So, what are you hoping to get out of a new friendship? What would you like for this person to mean to you? In what way would you like to create this connection? What kind of role would they fill for you in your life? Can be anything. I mean, we really want to be aware that when we're engaging in this kind of thing, that we're looking for connection as opposed to sort of, objectifying someone and turning them into an idea in your mind, or just something that you can take from, as is evidenced by our next question. But so if you kind of bristled when I said that and were like, I don't want anything from them, I just want friendship, I just mean, what are the things that you're longing for specifically? Like, do you think sometimes it's just small things? I just want someone to text whenever I get excited about something. Or I really want someone who I can laugh with. Really, deep belly laugh with. You're going to start to really think about the things in a friendship that are most important to you. I think that's a different way of putting it. What are the things that you value most in a friendship? And then what are the things that you really want to give of yourself in a friendship? I think one of the most important things that we can do in a healthy friendship, most relationships, is to listen, which is a practice, right? It's a practice. You can practice listening. You can get better at listening if you feel like it's not something it's not one of those tools that you naturally have in your toolbox. Maybe your, family of origin wasn't great at listening, wasn't great at asking questions maybe. But it's something that you can establish and you can develop, and you can get good at listening for sure if you're not someone who already is. But yeah, really practicing listening. I have a video here about listening, but maybe I'll do another one. Let me know in the comments if you'd like that. But I'd say listening is great. An aspect of that is real, genuine, deep curiosity, which I think is one of the most resilient, strong, beautiful, powerful qualities. Like apathy, indifference, and curiosity. I think passion and curiosity, I suppose. But really, when I think about apathy, for me, the opposite of that is curiosity. It was one of those things my mom always held such high regard in others. Just, they're so curious. They're so refreshing. They're so curious about life, about things. Loving when someone would have a lot of questions. Loving when someone's eyes would light up about something they were excited or curious about. Curiosity, I think, is an underrated quality, and I think it's a very powerful quality. It's a great quality for connection. It really breeds connection, curiosity does. And I think the opposite of that kind of sort of connector rather, would be something that stifles a connection, is being a know-it-all, someone who has all the answers. If you start sentences with, just so you know, it's a hard way to connect. You already have you're putting yourself above the other person. I know something that you don't. And then you're adding the sanctimonious quality of just so you know. Let me bestow this knowledge upon you, right? So we just want to be aware of the ways in which maybe we're hindering ourselves. And again, no judgment. Maybe some of us just weren't gifted with those tools in our toolbox. But again, I think curiosity is something you can definitely cultivate. It takes time. So listening, curiosity, and I think curiosity also helps us to move out of our comfort zone, which if you kind of go online and look up how to make friends, I'm sure it just says, join a group, start a new hobby, or something like that. Which is, if you're curious about things, you're more likely to kind of expand your horizons when it comes to the amount of people that you meet. Obviously, if you're expanding your horizons, you're going to have more opportunity for really making a connection. It's a lucky thing. A lot of psychologists talk about this only having a very small number of friends, and real, true, intimate friends. You're lucky if you have that. If you have like one or two, you're quite lucky. That you can really trust. I got distracted because a squirrel just jumped right at the window here. I was worried that he heard himself. He didn't, he's fine. Anyway. But I think that, when we, can't remember exactly where I was, but when we are giving ourselves more opportunities to meet people, then we can really connect. We're more likely to find them. So, just some food for thought. I think when we're talking about cultivating different qualities, I think that curiosity and listening are probably the most important across the board, because within those two qualities you can find so many different aspects that are going to help you with this. With that curiosity. Something with a friendship that can be kind of tricky is when one of you has maybe more time on your hands than the other. You're asking for more than the other person is able to give or willing to give. So having being able to have a whole smorgasbord of different interests, different things that you're curious about, so that you're not putting all of your energy just into this friendship. That way you really have space for each of you to have your own interests and curiosities, and that way there's that beautiful freedom that exists within a friendship that's really very unique and specific to that relationship. So many relationships, there are certain obligations that come with that. And with a friendship, there is this beautiful kind of fluid freedom where in an ideal situation, you show up for that person because you want to be with that person. You show up for that person because you love and care for that person. And there is something about an obligation which exists with so many of our relationships. Co-workers, if you're a caregiver in some way, and whether it's a child, or maybe I know several of you caregivers for your parents, we have a very different relationship, or clients, or whatever it is. There are just different relationships than friendships. Even a romantic partnership, they're just different. There's just different considerations, different obligations, I suppose. For the majority, everybody, you can give examples for anything, obviously, just in general. And so there's that beautiful freedom that can exist in a friendship that's difficult to kind of carve out in other relationships. Just starting to do some hands-on healing here, love. Starting your crown. And so when we have that kind of fluidity, when we have interests and curiosities outside of the friendship, that can really mean that we're not putting too much pressure on a friendship, and we can give grace to that space that can exist for you both to have different interests and curiosities, so that you can sort of connect in terms of where you're similar, and also connect in terms of your differences. Connect maybe just by listening and hearing a new perspective or something like that. That if we're just looking for a carbon copy of us, we're probably going to be disappointed, because no one can do that. No one can be you except you. I don't think that's what we're actually looking for either, hovering outside of your throat here. I don't think that's actually what we're looking for. We do want someone who can challenge us and respectfully, has a different perspective, maybe like shed light on an aspect of life that we hadn't maybe thought of. It can be a great opportunity for growth there. So these all come from curiosity, I think. And so if you cultivate curiosity, I think it'd be so much easier to kind of meet these things that make it a lot easier, hovering outside of your heart center. Make it easier for you to cultivate meaningful relationships, friendships. If you have any suggestions for making friends, connecting with others, please let us know. We'd love to hear. I'd love to know. There can be so many reasons that we're looking for this. It could be because maybe you've started to evaluate your current friendships and thought, oh wow, I'm recognizing I have a pattern in these friendships to kind of be a little bit of a doormat. I let people walk all over me, and I don't want to do that anymore. And maybe you can reestablish a relationship with people who have done that to you, but maybe you're starting to think, I might have to start over here. And if that's the case, I hope this can help support you in that new phase. Maybe it's, during this time, during this craziness of these past few years, it's just been really hard to connect with people. Maybe you've lost a friend, and I'm so sorry, and maybe you're looking for a new connection. Maybe you are in a transitioning point in your life, moving onto your solar plexus here, just hovering outside of your body. Not doing any hands-on healing today, just hovering outside of your body. Hands off. And maybe you are transitioning, whether that's from school to university, or from college out into life after college, to the work arena, or whether it's you've retired and you're trying to suss out what this is like, or maybe you're moving on from a transition of moving, maybe you've moved recently. Whatever it might be, just know that we can forge friendships at any point. Human beings are so dependent upon connection. It's such a part of our DNA to connect with others, to form communities, that if you're looking for a friendship, there are others who are looking too. And please, use this as a little meeting ground for friendships. I don't know if that's something you want, please. head down below and just say, hey, want to be friends? And then, like, being honest, working on communication. Now putting my hands on just outside of your sacral here, 2 to 3 fingers beneath your belly button, placing my hands, cupping them just outside of the space. Working on your communication, working on gentle communication. Blue lace agate is great for that. I love using blue lace agate or sodalite for that gentle communication. You can use rose quartz to pair with that as well. Gentle communication is a gorgeous way of being able to honestly open up and express yourself with others, while also not like being aware of the impact we have on others. When we say or do certain things, we have to recognize that there's like always a cause and effect, that it could affect other people. So we just want to be aware of that, do our best to really focus on communicating in a way that communicating our wants, needs, desires, any vulnerability in a way that is also taking responsibility for our energy and our voice and all of that. These things are very subtle. Placing my hands outside of your hips here now, just sending this energy into the root. But these are very subtle things, and this process is very subtle, and you're not going to be perfect. No one is. We're not going to be perfect in this journey. We just want to start to learn, because I think if you can learn to be a great friend, your life is, you're going to have such a happier life. Because the qualities that are required for great friendship, for deep connection, those are qualities that you can use to help you in every aspect of your life. And is there anything better than calling up a friend and either laughing or crying when I get texts from my best friend, we text all the time. And when he texts me and it's like, yo girl, what's good today? What are you doing? It's just, whenever I'm texting with my best friends, there's always a smile on my face. It's like I'm always And then when there's something that's really going on, it's so nice to get a message. It's like, hey, do you have a minute? I really need to talk. And, I've had friends in the past where that became the majority of our connection, and that's tough, right? Because then there's not much space for that balance. But, that shows, if you get that message, that shows that they trust you enough. That shows that you have great value to them. That you're somebody that they trust with that vulnerability. You're somebody that they trust with that story, with their story. That's such a beautiful thing. I think such a feel-good session, I hope. Anyway. Okay, love. Sending you love and light. All right. Let's do our owl rattle to close. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the tuning fork one more time instead. All right. So you could manifest this on the next new moon. If you want to join, I think it's January 2nd. I will do my best to let you know and start to let you know earlier when that will be, okay? But I think January 2nd is the next new moon. So when we're manifesting for the live stream, or if you're doing your own ritual, maybe this is something that you could really start to manifest using the moon cycles as well. Take a deep, rejuvenating breath here. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative, and you are emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are safe. So start cultivating these different qualities. Start cultivating the gifts that you have. Listening, curiosity, communication, and try your best to be brave enough to be vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable thing to reach out and make friends, and so it takes a great deal of strength. So I'm sending you love on this journey. If you've recently made a friend, I'd love to hear about it. It can sound so kind of silly, or maybe not silly, but light. And there is like a very deep spiritual connection when you're talking about friendship as well. So it's very deep, and it's such a rich relationship. It's very meaningful. So these connections are really powerful, and I honor that, and I would love to hear about any that you have, maybe an old friend, new friend, whatever it might be. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Maybe we can carve out a beautiful dialogue. Okay? All right, sending you so much love. And until I see you again, be so well. I've just finished making these new healing boxes. They come with these massive Tibetan incense cones, which I love. Handmade crystal embedded tea candles. Some anointing oil. And some gemstones and crystals. If you'd like to check them out, I've left a link in the description box. I put so much love into each of them, so I hope you enjoy. Sweet dreams. Can you come up on the pillow? She just wants cuddles. Come on. For today's video, I just wanted to do a little chakra activation. And just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. But this is a new kind of video for me. I usually, speak directly to the collective instead of the individual. So that always happens when I'm trying to do it like up here. Perspective. Maybe your perspective on things is a little clouded at the moment. I'm not sure if that resonates with you, but that's what I'm getting here. But just sort of being aware of what is coming in so that we can be more prepared to make that decision. I love metallic sounds. There's like clicky clacky sounds. But it's just how kind of